Everybody, and welcome. This is a special live stream because shock and awe, PDai, 700 million market cap wiped off, absolutely destroyed. And of course, Richard Hart, James Maria, Sommi, Nine Irons, all on the action, all on the playing field, let's say, and a few others as well. So we're going to get into this. This is by popular demand that people have been petitioning me to come on to cover this. And DJ Pullywood, I see you out there, man. I see you out there. So we're doing it. We're covering it as best as we can. So let's get into it as well. I've got a special guest as well going to be on the show. We're going to bring him up in a minute. So let's do that. Before I do that though, let's say hello to Rods. How you doing there? Evening, Superman. Evening to you. Big shout out to Wookie. And of course, Diamond Hands in the house there. Keep the lookout. So who would be able to get access to Mint and sell PDai? Well, we're going to talk about a lot of that. I want your opinions out there. So if you have been following this, get in the chat, add some value. Even if anyone, maybe no one knows what's going on, maybe everybody knows what's going on, well, you can decide. That's pretty much it. You can decide. So there we go. We got Hexius and us there. Awesome. Thank you for coming on. We need it now. Absolutely. Well, we're going to be talking about it. So without further ado, let's bring on our special guest and let's go full screen, full mode, as we say, since it is a shocking, destroyed market cap. Let's bring on Mr. Wookie. Let's go. And the stability miner is
I've got
really the heart of it.
We're playing the next
You
big
could say
stablecoin.
that, yes.
That's
Because
crazy.
that's the support.
All right, let's bring it on here. Sorry about that. That was the true PDai PUSD ALGO. That's pretty hilarious. That's your intro video there, Wookie.
I tell you what, you've been, you've been doing well with my intros there, Super. Well done.
I know. That was pretty epic.
Anyway.
So this is complete drama. This is the PDai pulse chart. Now, obviously, you can have PDai EDI chart, but this has got most of the liquidity in it, about 460,000 left. But this market cap's absolutely wrecked. Wookie, what do you reckon?
Oh no, it's been a day and a half, isn't it? Holy, there's never a dull day in bloody crypto, especially at the moment. That's for sure, Super. So we've seen a lot of price action, haven't we?
We have
all to the downside mostly. So.
So this is the 15-minute chart for the PDai pulse chart. Now the PDai EDI I think's only got like 60K in it or something, maybe a bit more. And this has got about 460, I think, $1,000 in it. But the market cap, like I said in the title of the video, let's start off with that because it's always good to see what actually value has come off here. So we have to switch from price to market cap, and we can see the massive amount actually wiped off. So let's do that amount. So if we've got like 750K, we're up here at one of these top spikes. I won't take these two outliers, but let's take up here 745, and we can bring down all the way down to $35 million today. That's over $700 million of market cap just gone. So what do you reckon about that, Wookie? What do you think about that?
Well, it's pretty sad to see, isn't it? I mean, that's a lot of value that's just it's gone somewhere, I guess, but it's certainly not on chain.
It's a lot. So I guess the supply is about 26 billion. So if it was $1, if it was actually pegged at $1, it's $26 billion market cap, right? So we got 700 million here. That's as high as it got, right? So the price. Let's have a look at the US dollar price before we get on into the conspiracy things, conspiracy theories. Plus, of course, maybe the truth is out there amongst the middle of the haystack there. We shall see. So we got the highest price back here when I took the market cap on the 11th of December at 3 cents. So, quite a bit of way to get to $1. And of course, that would have been something like a 50 plus X or something. And then, of course, we had this big spike here on the 29th of November. We got up to 3.4 cents. So getting close to $1 peg, but not quite there. That's why on this channel, we have always talked about it being the PDai make it theory, because a lot of it makes sense and some of it doesn't, right? So that's kind of where we are. Yeah. It's what do you reckon on that? Give us your thing about the make it theory.
Well, it's very confusing, right? And the whole make a dare system is not easy for people to understand with all the optioning and just how things all operate over there. So it's just not an easy thing for people to even know where to start with it, right? Yeah. So obviously, when things are difficult, they tend to just dismiss it, I guess, is probably how you would phrase that. But it's there's almost like there's no middle ground now. It's either you're either in one camp or the other camp, and there's nothing in the middle. So you're either going to believe in one theory or you're going to believe in the other theory. So it's kind of where we're at, and I think this is probably the final showdown, I guess, to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
And so this is what we're seeing today, right? Or in the last few days, I guess you could argue.
We know that Sommi, your friend Sommi, one of the biggest influencers in the Pulse Chain crypto community, has been covering PDai every hour of the day, just about.
Yeah.
So he's been pumping out content. A lot of people have been appreciating and watching that, and of course he's been leading the way on that as well. But we've also got who else is on the playing field? Richard Hart has come out, OMG, and we're going to cover that. I think that's what we should cover next. And we'll come back to Sommi. We'll come back to some of the PDai maxis who've been, in my view, putting out very good content. Now, it's whether it's how true it is, whether there's an exploit of minting, things like that going on. And that's why I think we should start, investigating live on the channel. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, they've been putting out a lot of stuff that is, well, it's on the chain, so it can be verified, right? So that's why it's quite compelling, right? A lot of the PDai story. And so if you've someone that's been following it, I can definitely see how people are, are definitely in that camp. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we know the back in the day, the evidence from Richard was, we're forking Ethereum. We're going to have aimbot do all the harvesting, right? So basically, the OA sacrifice wallet's got tons of coins of everything, right? Pretty much harvesting it, right? So we know he controls virtually a lot of stuff on Pulse, and that's his method, right? Control the majority of the supply, act like kind of like the Federal Reserve, whoever Richard's accounts are, whoever controls that. And that's how the game's to be played, right? So it made a lot of sense for these contracts like Compound, Aave, and Maker to get resurrected on the Pulse chain. Just made a lot of sense, right? And so
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And of course, he had a lot of the tokens from launch, right? So when things launched, I mean, he had all those tokens in his wallets. So there's a lot. You can definitely see how we've ended up where we've ended up.
Now, I guess so that's the positive case, but we also knew that Richard has said on live stream that his ideal stable coin is a fiat-backed one, right? But we also knew that part of his roadmap was a centralized exchange, which hasn't matured either, and nor has the wallet, right? The big sacrifice wallet that was going to come in, because obviously he's got had the SEC, he's had Interpol and the Red Notice, so there's a lot of things happening there. But that's kind of the logic there, that hey, maybe he resurrect these contracts because it could create tens of billions of dollars of value potentially, at least tens of millions for sure on the Pulse chain, right? So there is a big catalyst for that, because if it did get PDI did get to dollar, that'd be $26 billion, right? So already you're up with the major players and adding a lot of value to the chain. So pretty epic way of shocking the market and saying, look what I did. I came and I conquered as usual, because Richard loves to win, right?
It's definitely compelling, right? I mean, that whole narrative was a pretty strong narrative. I mean, and that's not to say that it's still, to this day doesn't could potentially still be in play, but it's hard. It is a confusing scenario because you're basically there's arguments both ways, right? And and now with Richard Hart, it's really muddying the waters even more so, right?
Yeah, well, let's look at his comments, because we've put up the positive case, and we've seen the PDai Maxi crew, the leaders, which we're going to look at later on, provided a ton of evidence in this sort of argument. And then now today we've got Richard Hart finally coming out, right, post his SEC victory, albeit we're waiting for the final blows, as it were, with the extension. But let's check out some of the drama that unfolded on Telegram, because it's pretty exciting. But of course, we do feel a lot for the people that have lost money. So this is we're very sympathetic to people. Obviously, we care about people, want people to do well. So if this has affected you at this stage, we're very unfortunate about that, and we hope that it does do some sort of rebound for you, because that's how markets work, right? So we'll see what happens here. Let's check out Richard Hart. And Richard Hart here posted out, this was in Telegram, in your friend Sommi's Telegram group, actually. And we've copied that into this whiteboard here so people can see. And this was interesting because Richard came in with the name Richard Hart, of course. This is quite weird, but it came in just before the tweet has, or just after the tweet had come out here at 1:20 a.m. It's got on the ticker here. It says, I have tweeted, and came into there. And of course, everyone's shocked. WTF, Richard, is that actually you? And Jake says, no, it's not me. So we've got a lot of the stuff right on Telegram, which is a bit of the Wild West. Let's be fair about that. But what do you think about that?
Well, and I think it has been, if I'm not mistaken, proven that is actually the real Richard Hart, right? So it's pretty crazy, right? And the fact that he's come into the Sommi chat as well. So he's obviously been definitely following Sommi, right?
Well, the funny thing is, I saw Sommi make a comment. I think it was in one of the Telegram groups that he wondered whether Richard Hart was looking at him, whether he was watching, basically, especially with that he was pumping out all the comments. And I replied back in the Telegram group. I said, Richard watches everything, because I can imagine Richard doing that, right? Like, there's probably a lot of influencers he watches. There's probably a lot of community members that he follows and watches. He's keeping abreast of what's happening on Pulse Chain. There's a lot of, obviously, teams building stuff like Finvesta, Vox, Emmett coming up. There's so many teams that are trying to create value on Pulse Chain, and then you have these big project dramas like PDai. So he's definitely watching a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he probably doesn't watch every episode of Sommi, because I don't think anyone can.
No, I don't think that's really possible, except for Sommi himself.
I think it's possible. Yeah. So, but he obviously does. He does tune in from time to time, I guess, to see to get a feel for where everyone's at, I guess, and that would be a wise thing from him to have been doing all the time. So that would completely make sense. But it's interesting, right? It's very interesting.
It was very interesting. And so this happened today. So Sommi makes that joke about, is Richard watching? Then later on, Richard posts a tweet, and then immediately a personality saying that it's Richard Hart says I posted a tweet, jumps in there. Now, we'll give that a degree of probability that that's Richard. And then, of course, then we go to Richard's posts, and here he starts posting out, right? So very, very interesting stuff. So let's move down a little bit here. Just got to so that everyone can see the post. We're doing our best. Maybe I can minimize. I've minimized the wrong thing there. Let's minimize that a little bit there, and let's move over to the right hand side. This is what we can do with Studio, folks. It's movie magic.
This is
movie magic.
Yeah,
and we can see that he says something has inflated the PDai supply by multiples. Free DAI fork. Of course, PDai is the DAI fork from Ethereum. PDai has 24.5 billion supply now. So let's go check that, because I've got that up there, and you can see that it is actually 24.5 billion in DAI. That's PDai here on Pulse Chain, right? This is using the scanner at 9mm. In fact, I might post this in the chat there in case people like to follow along. And of course, a lot of people are after information. So hopefully this helps for sure. And let's post that up there. This is going to be quite the fun show. We're going to be posting as much as we can. And we've got David in from the UK. Good morning to you. Yeah, it's definitely morning for the UK time. Getting late for us, but we had to come on by popular demand. That's pretty much it. The Kiwis from down under, as it were. The Kiwis from down under, North Island and South Island represented. So, we got that 24.5 billion DAI there. And interesting, the holders, right? So the holder count, we're not going to go through all the holders, but just to see the holders, you got this main contract, 11.4%, 2.8 billion in that, and so on. So you got all these other some contracts and some free accounts there holding a decent percentage. So let's get back to Richard, though. So he says 24.5 billion. We just confirmed that on stream. DAI has under 10 billion at the Ethereum fork. So that was back on the 10th of May, 2023. That was 10 billion. So it's grown quite a bit. What's it? 2.5x growth in the supply there. Who's minting that supply? And why are they? It's rumored. Dumping it and bridging out. Say what? That is the big drama, right? So now we're going to go. This is Richard Hart commenting on this. And of course, we've got the theory that Richard Hart is setting this up, which I don't know, makes a lot of sense. but of course it's got to be proven. And then he goes, the pick is that he's talking about here. The pick is that of the market cap of DAI on Ethereum, by the way, not on PDai. We can see that $5.3 billion there. Since it's usually $1, the market cap chart is basically the supply chart, and that's right. So that's how much DAI is sitting there apparently. So let's have a quick look at some of the rest of his comments, and hopefully I'm not going to have I don't know what happened there. I actually lost Richard Hart. So let me go find Richard Hart again and pull it back up. So then we had some more comments. So we just 3 hours ago, we had this comment. PulseX can never inflate and only burn supply daily. So we saw what seemed like the Origin account wallet selling PDai and, of course, putting it into PulseX, as well as understand it. So that's what you understand too, right?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah. For the first time, I think ever, he's taken one of the
that's right,
the original wallets, and he's moved it into PulseX. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got the only burn supply daily pump.tires coins can never inflate after they graduate to PulseX. And of course, we've covered that several times. We've got an expert in our Discord on pump.tires. So if you haven't joined our Discord, the link's in the video description. Join up to one of the best communities on Pulse Chain. We cover everything from investors to DGN tokens. And of course, jump in there today, only $12.50 a month. Great value. Hex is capped at 3.69% inflation. And of course, that's the nominal inflation rate, not necessarily the real inflation rate, which has been quite a bit lower than that. Pulse Chain has lower inflation than Ethereum. Of course, we're talking about EIP 1559, and of course the 25% difference, right? Built onto that, onto I think it's the base fee, and of course on top of that is tips that people pay to the validators to get validated. So that is kind of context there. Pulse Chain has low inflation than Ethereum. Coins with admin keys or other general suctitude can also hyperinflate and die. So that's he's basically drawing us back to his protocol tokens, right? PulseX and Hex and Pulse Chain, essentially there.
Well, that's right. Because PulseX obviously is getting burnt off, right, through the exchange, and so it's a deflationary.
But amongst all this PDai drama and the selling from PDai into PulseX, we've got him focusing back on the RH tokens again. That's kind of the big narrative there.
Yes,
yeah. And so then we've got this next one 3 hours ago. PDai, it's rumored that this is a spreadsheet of guys that are minting and dumping. Perhaps they could do that forever. Coins that don't hyperinflate to death are cool. So coins that's Richard Hart tokens, right? PulseX, Pulse, and X. So he's drawing us back again to that attention. So basically this is him saying it's not me. And so therefore someone's doing something nefarious, right? And then we get the spreadsheet, right? This is the spreadsheet, and I'm going to zoom in on this so you guys can see that a bit better. And we can see, I'll just get rid of that. And we can see that we've got these 4 accounts, and this is by Crypto Solve there as of 21st of March. And it's got these 4 accounts, and then it's got total PDI minted and sold to date 845 million tokens. Total bridged out almost $4 million. And the notes say we have scoured PDI buys extensively for weeks and can find no evidence of this money returning to chain. And here's the count there. This particular account there holds $1 million of the bridged out funds. So that's the saying there. The remainder has been sent to at least one small centralized hot wallet or is being cross-chain swapped elsewhere. So that's talking about pretty much a $4 million link there from PDai being minted and sold. So this is the evidence that Richard Hart's providing. Obviously, Richard Hart is the founder of the chain, and of course, if you're going along with the Richard Maker PDai theory, well, he's basically challenging that and focusing people back on to his Richard Hart tokens and sort of saying, hey, look, this is not really me. This is somebody else. Doesn't look good. Siphoning out capital from the chain. You got any thoughts on that?
Well, no, you've pretty much summed it up, haven't you? So it's essentially Richard saying he's not a part of the PDai theory, right? In essence, that's what he's alluding to, anyway.
Giving us that. Yeah, we've got a few people in the chat. We've got Mr. D in the house. G'day all. Our biggest test of the cycle. Some of us. That's true, Mr. D. You're right.
Yeah.
Anita says I sold into PulseX. Nice one there, Anita. I think Sommi's actually done that, right? So we might check out Sommi's comments.
It is, yeah. I don't know if you were going to talk about that or whether you want to bring that up.
We're coming back to Sommi. I just wanted to start off with Richard Hart because I felt like,
Yeah,
that's the
place to
PDai
start.
maker theory. It's really the idea that Richard Hart or associates or his team are related to that in some way. So that's kind of the idea there. Smog says no crying in the casino. Good to see neither yourself or Wookie crying. No, not indeed there. Well, it just depends on how much exposure you've got to things, right? We've got NJ Dub says we'll have a good cry. We have a good cry over like Sense and Sensibility or Princess Bride.
You should see us after the
Princess
stream.
Bride. Remember Princess Bride? My God. When he took the sword and he killed the guy. I don't know. But we got that going on. We got NJ Dubbin House there. Wow, I can't believe we actually got clear communication about all of this. Wouldn't it have been cool if he had tweeted saying he wasn't part of PDai like 2 years ago? Well, I'll leave that open for the community, but that's a fair point. So yeah. Anita says, why did RH take so long to clarify? Hey, look, it's up to him. He's obviously got the SEC on him. He's got the Interpol with the red notice. I don't know. You can decide. Lots of things going on there. So busy man under a lot of pressure, and of course, fighting to win there for the rest of crypto as well. So yeah,
that's where all the confusion comes from, right? It's kind of that this whole thing has been. It's been a confusing thing because you just kind of have to. Well, I guess you got to believe in one thing or the other.
You do.
But there's so much mixed information that it's really hard to really understand.
There's compelling arguments. Yeah, so we're looking at
both ways,
looking at the case at the moment of the PDai maker theory with Richard Hart, and Richard Hart has got some pretty clear messaging. Go to the Richard Hart tokens, and he said this from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Go to the Richard Hart tokens. They're going to be deflationary, and is what we're seeing today. So, but it doesn't mean that another team is not doing it, and they may have good motives for making the PDai maker theory work themselves. It could be another team, as opposed to this example here with these accounts siphoning out. So you've got a lot of stuff to weed through, right? So the needle in a haystack kind of thing. We've got Diamond Hand says, easy not to cry when you don't chase coins being shoved down your throat. Cultivate the cause there, and that's what Richard always says. Don't chase pennies in front of freight trains, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that. Yeah. We got NJ Dub says he's talking through the blockchain. There, where is decentralized me? Yeah, that's right. So, but we're going to get into that because we like to say we're going to show all sides, right? You guys can sort of decide where you think things lay there. So let's go back to the PDai price because I think that was the last update from Richard, if I remember rightly. So let's quickly look at that. I think we've got all of his updates for the time being. I'm sure he's going to make some more comments here. Let's go back here. Man, this mouse is a little shifty mouse. I think that was the last one, actually, to be honest. And anyway, it's having trouble rendering. I found that on X today. So I think that was it on there. So that's on Richard Hart. I'm going to take that out there. So that is the website there. And of course, you can find that on Richard Hart's X as well. But I will post the link to this in the chat there if you guys want to check it out. Bam. Check that one out there.
And actually, I hadn't had a chance to even look at that yet. I saw he had posted
that's the link to that website there if you guys want to check it out, folks. Obviously, you can hope you have good scanners and stuff like that. Now, what we want to do, so this is some of the cool stuff that we saw. And of course, we're going to get back to Sommi in a minute, but let's go back to the price and see how that's handling things. Let's go to the 15-minute chart and see that has actually had a bit of a bounce. And of course, we're currently at 0.0064 up to 0.00, so 1,400 for a penny at the moment. So we're actually up there. Can we see that on the screen? We can. And and let's let me know if I've blocked the screen because sometimes I don't have the view. But we're up 136% in 2 hours. So mad gains. It's 2.3x there sitting in there. If you're willing to take the risk, mad gains all around. So that's pretty much there on that one. Now, obviously, Richard's focusing on the main tokens there. So let's close down PDai for a minute and have a look at Pulse. So Pulse at the moment still down 20% for the 24 hours, but is up 4.5% the last hour. But PulseX, of course, is the darling, and that's up fixed 5.6% at the moment, but still down 16% on the last week. So down 20% for the last week, down 5.8% for 24 hours for Pulse, down 16% on the 7 days, and 1.6 on 24 hours. So not too bad on the 24 hours there for Pulse, and up 5.6% at the moment. And Signum tokens down 22% for the week, down 7% for the day, and up 7.2% in the last hour. So a little bit of a bounce there. And Hex, of course, similarly down 22% for the week, down 70% for the day, and up 5%, up 5.5% for the day for the last hour there. So not too bad. Little bounces there. What a bargain though to get Richard Hart coins at the moment. That's all I can say. So yeah, we've had a bit of a drain there, though. I'm going to bring up the bridge. Let's have a look at the bridge, man. I don't actually have the bridge on this chat on this Chrome browser, though. So let me just type that in. Actually, I'll bring it in from the other website. Let me just go find that.
Of course, the beats had been going through the roof today, so it was extremely hard to even get a transaction through. So I mean, it was probably quite difficult to pick up some of those lows. But that's just how it goes when you're in this sort of environment, right?
Yep. So we're sitting at $92.7 million at the moment, but the PDai, this is an PDai from Ethereum. This is still at 25 million, so it's still holding up pretty well, but it was over 26 million a few days ago. So, but that's what's happened at the moment, and the Ether as well. So I guess you could exit on different coins, but that is where we are at the moment on that bridge. So there we go. Let's go back into some of the other stuff. So let's go check out Sommi before we get into the affirmative. So we've gone into the kind of the negative theory for PDai from Richard Hart, the man himself, which is the he is the theory in many ways. So let's talk about the other the Somni stuff, because he's been covering this pretty full on for quite a long time, but particularly the last hour or so. But he's got a lot of content, so we'll probably just try and summarize that. So 8 hours ago, he's got many people asking for Richard Hart tweets referencing PDai, and they have been put here for you to make your own mind up. Richard Hart PDai tweets in the past have caused controversy. That's the last 8 hours. But of course, we saw Richard there coming out in the last 3 hours, right? Basically saying that it's some nefarious player from his point of view, and provide the evidence for that with that spreadsheet. So yeah, he's got quite a few things here. Truth, Richard Hart is the founder of Pulse Chain, PulseX Hex. Richard Hart is the deployer for all forked P tokens, P NFTs, and everything else that's on Pulse Chain, copy from Ethereum on the 10th of May, 2023. He's not the founder of them. A deployer is someone who initiates the process of placing the token smart contract onto the blockchain. And of course, there is a little bit of background there. So let's jump through some of these. It's got some interesting, he's done an apology there. I'm not going to go through that. But I do not think Richard Hart played 7 hours ago, played any wrong move when it comes to Pulse Chain launch. When he launched Pulse Chain, everything was looking pretty fine. Let's just jump into that as well. I haven't gone through a lot of these, so we're going through it live.
Yeah, there's a lot. He's posting a lot, isn't he? It's hard to give up.
Jump through some of this. So I'm going to jump through all that. Let me just throw Pulse Chain community is countless 5 hours ago, currently arguing about whether PDI can get to $1, but $380 million Bitcoin investors are saying Bitcoin is going to $13 million per Bitcoin. Now, I think it's going to do that, but probably not to the 2030s, right? So that's still a while away off. We got inflation's a wonderful thing, right? And so is every investor. But $380 million Bitcoin investors are saying Bitcoin is going there. What's a whopping $273 trillion market cap? Well, in the future, that's probably going to happen, but not today, right? Not today. I think we can definitely get to a million or a couple million in the next couple of years, but that's kind of where we're laying there. Someone named Richard Hart joined my Telegram. Now we posted that, right? And said I've tweeted, and we checked Richard Hart's tweet, and he tweeted about PDai. So I mean, it's compelling, but we know crypto is a pretty scammy place. So who knows? He has recently sold 100K of OA from PDai into PulseX. So that was confirmation there from Sommi. He has recently sold $100,000 of OA from PDai into PulseX. They're also a bit worried about that. So that's that tweet that we showed on our whiteboard. And that is his post that he made at that time, which is around the PDai value, right, which we've confirmed on the blockchain live here. Let me just jump through some of this. Now, obviously, he's going to get into some of the other comments here. So 2 hours ago. Now, obviously, Sommi's been feeding this for days on this. So we're just going through the last 8 hours just for time. He goes, no crying in casino. Richard Hart has done fatal tweets to PDai, suggesting there is an inflation bug, and also directly tweeting crypto solve on-chain work there, which we showed you on the spreadsheet and posted in the link there. My actions, I rotated the pennies into PulseX. In other words, what he had left. Betting that the buy and burn can beam up one day and recover. The OA also rotated into PulseX with the DAI, ramification of the Pulse Chain as a whole from Sommi's point of view. Critical questioning of the P token narrative of any P token now. Perhaps the P wrap Bitcoin, though, is okay and relatively safer. And of course, there is a good narrative around wrap Bitcoin, right, because of Bitcoin itself. Not sure, though, Richard's actions could send it creating with the tweet. Most of the track, well, I don't see that, see? And what was the counter argument to that, right? And that is that Richard said, we're going to launch this chain, the market will decide what these tokens are worth, right? Come get your airdrop and let the market decide what these are worth. And they're all worth something, right? People are trading these all the time, right? So that's pretty crazy. Now we've got a few other comments in the chat here as well, and I'm going to get to those too because we've got some good comments in there. We've got Mr. D in us. We are going to cover that. What about the flop auctions? Can we read anything there? Yeah, we're going to get to that. So that's coming up. And of course, we were expecting flop options to start today, but I still think they're potentially a couple of days away after this event. So we'll talk about that. That's coming up. I brought the low, says unprotected X. Nice. You got that mad gains. So there is opportunity for people, obviously, to buy these pullbacks. PDai Moon now. Yeah, that's right. That's crypto for you. Well said there, unprotected Hex. So pretty crazy. Now, most of the trading around PRV, PMaker, and everything else has to do with decentralized stablecoin vision and voting power. But with the PDai, the biggest P token spear crushed, we can only question what comes next. Now, as you guys know, I've been covering PUSD algo for a reason, Wookie, for a reason. And that is that this is going to be the first algorithmic coin on Pulse Chain that's pegged to $1 essentially from the first week or so. So it's going to be pegged. We've seen it on testnet work beautifully. And it's a brand new innovative model there from Jacob. And of course, I dropped some alpha there with having Cult DeFi on the show yesterday, talking about, I think it was yesterday or the day before, talking about PUSD algo. And of course, he has just hired new developers to modernize what already works. So the basic engine works, and he's going to revamp that because we know Signum Oracle is coming along. And of course, that's going to be an Oracle that's going to have a full suite for PUSD algo amongst other projects for Jacob. Remember, Jacob is the founder of the Mafia game, currently being played all the time. And there's about 35 players in jail right now as we speak. So this is getting picked up. And so he's going to do this first full DeFi algorithmic stablecoin. And definitely consider looking at that. I did a video the other day. Go type in PUSD algo, look up the videos I did a year ago with Jacob. As you guys know, myself, Cult DeFi have been huge backers of that for a long time. And of course, if you want to get a link to referral bonus for that, don't consider it a sacrifice, consider it more of a contribution. But of course, it is risky. Do your due diligence, not financial advice, all that good stuff. But remember, up to 75% of the funds for PUSD algo will be going into the protocol day one, into the liquidity pools and the stability miners. So it's like Terra Luna, but done right? It's fully decentralized. It's not going to have any middleman, controlling it. It's not going to have any funny yields in it. It's not going to have any funny swapping mechanisms. And it works really, really well with these decentralized bots running liquidity pools, and people get paid for that, right? And it was so successful in the testnet that was live on Pulse Chain, but testing that it actually was making money as well as being stable to $1, and it performed way better than Liquidity Forks and even Coast fiat-backed stablecoin. And so it really is the real PDai. And so definitely check that out. Links in the video description for PUSD algo. Get a 90% referral bonus and kick it for a win, mate, because that's going to end up winning the day. So we're waiting for the Signum Oracle for that, and then we're going to get the PUSD algo update from Jacob. That's the next road ladder for that. So exciting times. All right, so let's get back on board here, though. Ramifications. We got also most of the trading around PRV, PMaker, and everything else was to do with the centralized stablecoin vision and voting power. But with PDai, the biggest P token spear. Now, remember, these are all part of the same ecosystem, right? So you got Compound, RV, you got Maker, and they're all supposed to work together, integrated as well to get this PDai Maker theory stablecoin. But with PDai, the biggest P token spear crushed, we can only question what comes next. Well, what comes next for us is PUSD algo. All right, so we've been saying it all this time for over a year now. So I don't know, people have got to get on board at some stage, I guess. But once again, it's up to you. It is still a innovative technology, so but it will be species unique, as I say. We've got pulsechain.com website literally talks about enriching ERC20 users with a new gold rush, and that's what we're talking about too. And of course, perhaps now after this PDI bug and now defining definitely sends negative signals to the smallest of whales who consider bridging e-tokens and bonding with P-tokens. Community is now questioning the whole world's biggest airdrop now to a future direction now, and if Richard Art has a plan for that and any yield farms, or if it's just to the meme coin community now. Now, we know this is not the case, right? And that's why on this channel, I've covered so many quality DeFi protocols, and really it's up to people to participate in those quality protocols, right? So people can decide where they're going to go into meme coins, whether they just want a casino and a DGN space, and there's always going to be that big part of the market. but there's also tons of quality DeFi. In fact, I went through, a week ago, Wookie? I went through all the DeFi protocols. If you haven't checked that video out, go through it. It was a huge list of quality projects. So
it was probably a week or so ago now, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there's a lot in there, right? There really is. So there's something for everyone. It's no good just having a chain that's only only a meme coin or whatever. You want to attract a wide variety of people on chain doing all sorts of things, right? Because that's the beauty of it, right? That's why we're in DeFi.
We're very lucky. We've had some great devs on the chain. Like I'm thinking of Dipcatcher. I'm thinking of Alex McFurter. I'm thinking of obviously Jacob, who's really the number one peer-to-peer dev in the world. His team is amazing out of Europe there, all super geniuses, and building what they got the number one GameFi, number one NFT marketplace, the only metaverse, and soon with PUSD ALGO to have the number one stablecoin and DeFi platform on Pulse Chain. Which will actually be pegged to $1, and that's going to be of massive value in the market. So, it's huge. So I'm very excited about that. Now, you can't always back winners, but feeling very good about it as well. And of course, it will require the Signum Oracle. Of course, that's from a different team, from Stu. And of course, we know Randy Alaski, a big influence in the Pulse Chain community, is also backing that project. So it is going to be fun to see that come to market. And of course, oracles are fundamental. We just had the Fetch Oracle launch, of course, but I think Signum is going to be a little bit that next level, and looking forward to that being elevated onto Pulse Chain. Now, some of the other stuff he's got here is Pulse Chain ecosystem takes an anonymous hit because of the Atropo ecosystem was the biggest ecosystem on the chain, true, and now it's just created to zero, unfortunately. But hey, look, this is crypto, markets recover, and of course, we're expecting a lot of bullish things to move forward on the chain. PDai, price to action, was a spear for all the altcoins on the chain. It would lead first, and it certainly gave that kudos. But like I say, I think PUSD ALGO is sitting there in the wings, and people have overlooked it, but not everybody. Today, PUSD ALGO hit $450,000 on the bonus contributions. So it's still going up, and you've got an opportunity to get on that. And I thought that's going to be a huge DeFi stablecoin platform. And I'm expecting that to be potentially integrated with Mafia Game and many other casino applications as well. And also other protocols will probably use it, because if you've got a stablecoin that's actually pegged to $1 virtually all the time, then teams are going to flock to use that and pair up to that. So I'm excited about its future. You got anything to say about that, Wooks?
No, you're spot on. I mean, I think the chains needed something like that for a while, ever since the beginning, I guess. And maybe the whole PDai thing might not have happened if we had something from the beginning, right? But anyway, I don't think we had the oracles to potentially do that from the start.
Right? They're upon us.
We've had to wait for those things to show up, I guess, and
That's right.
in the meantime, we've had a gap, I guess you could say, and when you have
really important. Yeah, that's a really important point you're making. Because
Yep. Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, whenever there's space, people want to fill it, don't they? That's basically where I was going with that.
No, that's a really good point. So PUSD ALGO hasn't been in a launch because we're waiting for an oracle, but the Fetch Oracle just launched, and Signum Oracle is about to launch. It's all ready to go. They're just doing the ramp up for that. And so this is all about the takeoff of PUSD ALGO. So if you're looking for a real alternative to PDai with 100% certainty that the dev actually knows what he's doing and it's actually going to be pegged at $1, then PUSD ALGO is the kind of the answer there. But let's move on here. We got the exchanges, says Sommi, Binance, Coinbase, and the world's biggest airdrop incentive just created to zero. So if the community can raise another 80 million or $80, together, maybe we can get to ask them nicely to put a list Pulse Chain on there. And of course, that has been happening anyway, right? We've been seeing since the SEC case victory, more and more protocols getting listing Pulse Chain back on again. And of course, we've had a number of key community members making that happen as well. So it is a team effort. The other thing, of course, he says many people are torn. Did Richard Hart tweet about PDai 7 times because he was generally trying to get it to work, and something bad happened? So that's always a possibility as well. There are still people who think this could be a shakeout, probably because of things like PDai being the first logo on PulseX. What do you think of Pulse Chain, Richard Hart, and P tokens after this event? And he's posted a bit of evidence here around that. So those are the posts that we've just read through, right? So pretty interesting. So let's go back into some more of the stuff here. So I think are we catching up here? I think we are. Actually, I probably got a bit too advanced here. So I think we covered. Let's jump that there. Yeah, we covered that one, didn't we? And I think we got to that one. So let's read this rest of the thread. History, even with PDai down 98%, it's still up after the SEC announcement on July the 2023. Now, that was the 31st of July, 2023, right? How do I know all these dates, Wookie? Why is that?
I'm not sure, Super.
Maybe it's because I've been covering Pulse Chain just about every single day of my life. Well, at least the last week of my life. For now, we look to Richard Hart, the core coins, to do something. So there we go. And Richard Hart posted about that, right? Core coins. 99 Capitals posted this just now. He said that 599 6 wallets sold 683 million PDai. Now we're going to go through all that, so we'll come back to that in a minute. And let's go through this next one there. 1 hour ago, first shakeout out the weak hands with the spicy tweet. Then I post valuable stuff. No one love for hands there. And now he's posted this one here. Oh, well, actually, that's the last one he's done there. So there we go. That's Somni there. So we've gone through his last 8 hours of stuff there, and of course he's been a valuable contributor to this whole discussion. And unfortunately, he's faced some wrath unfairly. Hopefully that people shake their heads and behave themselves in crypto. So that's pretty important there. Let's have a look at the price again because it's probably moving around a bit here. Let's go to the 15-minute chart as well. That's how we roll. Yeah, so we got up to 1.14 of a penny, and then we're back down at 1200th of a penny there. So we'll see where that lands, this price, once all the stuff lands. Now, if you guys are wondering what the hell is PDai maker theory, what was the PDai how we're going to peg? Well, this is the chart, right? This is the chart that everyone's been referencing. You got anything to say about this one, Wookie?
Well, I think this should definitely clarify. If you don't know how it works, this is definitely the chart for you, right? I mean, and this chart definitely is why most people don't understand what.
Most people look at this and go,
yeah. Well, that's definitely my first reaction when I saw it as well, and I was like, well, there we go, right?
Most people are like, what am I smoking? What am I smoking?
It's like, who was the madman that made this chart and thought people were gonna understand it?
Now I'm going to move us. I'm going to move us around a bit because we can't see all this chart. So let's move here.
Surprisingly.
We're doing some movie magic here. I hope you guys enjoy the movie magic. There we go. And there we go. Bam. We did just like that. So we're going to look at a few concepts just quickly. I'm not going to go through this whole chart because I don't understand the whole thing myself. I haven't gone through it all. Probably understand about 30% of it. But it's if you went through and tried to understand, you could probably do that within a reasonable time. But once again, you got to do the work, right? So let's go into the thing. So we've got the main thing here, VAT. You might see that terminology of VAT used. We're also going to be talking about this flop auction, right? So you might have heard this flop auction. You can see it over here in this little box over here, flop auction there. So that's very important, right? So we're going to go through a few of these. We've had obviously flip there as well, flap. And so we've got these different terminologies, right? So the flop auction is what we expected to start today, but apparently it's not happening today, but maybe within the next few days there. And it is where we expected PDai to go and into buy make, I think, and then the PDai all gets burned. I think that's the basic idea. And of course gets rid of a deficit and that's a surplus there, or a deficit. I can't remember which one it is, but that's kind of where this was supposed to be. And then you can also see the maker contract there as well, and the DAI. You got the DAI down here as well. So you got a couple of these key concepts as well, and you got this auction user. So the auction user will come into the flop there as well. So we're going to get into a bit of that with the Maxi crew now. So now we're going away from Richard Hart and Sommi. We're now going over to the affirmative, right? So we're going to go from the negative in the debate to the affirmative, and now we're going to get into that. So you can see all this breakdown here. So I'm going to post this chart in the chat there if you guys want to check it out and look at it in your own times. Now, there's a lot of documentation around Maker and stuff out there, so you can definitely check that out if you want to become a guru in the stuff. So let's have a look here. We've got a few comments as well. So yeah, Mr. D, we're up to that flops, and you can see that on the chart, right? So flop is that blue box over there, and you got auction users going to use that flop there. And let's see what else there. We got was it Azuti there? Says, dude, PDai is not mooning now. Says Azuti. Well, it came back a little bit, but it had a nice little bounce of a 1.2x, which is a pretty good gain in a short period of time. And it's done. Well, normally they say, and it's gone. But it's still up a bit, but coming down. We'll see where it lands. And that is the link there as well. Kind of cool. All right. Let's move on there. So that is the chart there. And we're going to get into PDai Maxi, who's really one of the big proponents, right? So this is the positive, right? So we got PDai is inevitable, says PDai Maxi here. here is the proof. And so they provide evidence. So you got to give street cred, right? This is not just giving fancy terms. I saw in Telegram, people go, oh, they just put up fancy terms. Well, no, they're actually putting together an argument, providing evidence for the action. So you got to give credit for that. Whether they're right or wrong, you got to decide, but that's pretty much it. Number 2, RH is reprogramming PMaker to operate on Pulse Chain. Now, like Sommi said, is it the fact that there was an exploit function that was able to mint and it's been abandoned by Richard Hart? So that's the one theory. Or do we just take Richard Hart's word as it is? And that's kind of what Richard's saying. Just take it for what it is. And therefore, he's not really involved with that. Now, I think the powerful theory that he resurrects these contracts that get copied over made a lot of sense for adding a lot of value to Pulse Chain, and certainly would be a big mark of success that he would have. So we'll see what happens, unfolds there. We always know that Richard Hart said he's got a lot of tricks, right? Nobody is like Richard Hart. He's got a lot of tricks in his pouch there. So we shall see. Number 3, a recapitulation of the P maker or maker contract there can establish the peg for the PDai, right? Which has to be destroyed essentially. Ever wonder why RH tested RPC protocols? Is it for PDai, P maker? Is it for Hex, Pulse, PulseX? And of course, Richard Hart has focused people back on Hex, Pulse, PulseX. But is that the case that maybe he was trying to do it and it didn't happen there? So that is the chart there. Now let's get into some of the comments here because I want to, this was the 29th of 2024 that he posted this out. Now I want to get some of the recent ones though. So let's look at this most recent one. This was 2 hours ago. So if you guys haven't seen this, is hot off the press as well. So let's move around, Wookie. We're going to do the dance and we're going to go down here. Let's go about there. So people are going, wow, how do they do that? This is an amazing magic trick.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
I've never seen this on other channels. And I'm sure you've seen crazier things on Sommi's channel. I'm sure you've seen like his floppy slippers. You've seen his floppy.
I've seen too much, Super.
You've seen too much. Yeah. Too much, too many, as we say, or as we say in the country, too much, too Mickey. Too much, too Mickey.
Too Mickey. Yeah, all right.
Too much, too Mickey. All right. Hey, it's amazing how that comes out. Okay, that just came out from nowhere. Where'd that come from? I don't know.
Who knows?
All right, so we got a comments here from this now. So now we're on the affirmative, right? So these are the Maxi Pros, right? They provide evidence. So I give them street cred for that, right? So I'm not going to sit around on Telegram and just say, oh, they use fancy terms, but they actually do provide evidence. You can decide whether it's good or not after that. So we've got PDai Maxi there. Says a Richard Hart win there at the 5996 has sold 683 million PDai out of the VAT in the past 2.5 months. But he also added 1.7 billion PDai to a queue to be burned. And of course, the total PDai supply is expected to be 100 million lower than where we started before the exploit bad actor ? Think again. Well, Richard showed that these 4 wallets through the Slove Solve, I think his name was, has shown that $4 million has basically been exited out of the system through PDai minting. So that's a still question we're going to pin up there on the side as we read through this, right? So he's got here P maker system surplus 418 million. PDai needed to be increased to push vaults into bad debt, right? So we're going to push PDai into vaults into bad debt, 265 million. And so total PDai removed from the VAT. Now remember that picture that we had, that picture up here with the VAT. Remember that I showed you the big cylinder in the middle. That is what we're talking about there.
Yep.
So PDai removed from the VAT by the 599. In fact, have I still got that? Yeah, that is the VAT, right? That's the VAT. That's what we're talking about. Man, it feels like we're in the Matrix. The fact that, all right, watch out for the alien destroyers. They're coming through. What's that city? The one at the bottom. What was it called? I can't remember now. Anyway, we got the yield at 16%, and then it's got PDai cleared from bad debts. The flop queue. So we talked about the flop. So we've got this flop auction, right? So we've got auction user here. And then we've got this flop, right? This is the flop auction. That's what we were waiting for today. It was going to be 6 days. So just keep that in the back of your mind as well. And then we've got net benefit, PDai to be burnt net. So this is this big burning mechanism, right? Is 1 billion tokens. Remember, there's 24.5 billion, 1 billion tokens there. Although the numbers here are slightly different, I've noticed. So we got total PDai supply in December 2024 was 25.1. We know that it's 24.5 at the moment. We saw that on the blockchain, and Richard Hart also used that number. Total PDI supply in today is 26 billion, which is actually above the 24.5. So it's a little confusing to me, but excuse me, maybe that represents some maximum ceiling or something like that. I don't know, as opposed to the total supply in the protocol, like the PDai maker protocol. Next increase is 923 million tokens. Alleged, I don't know if that's got an R there. Alleged minting is 283 million. And what do we have on that spreadsheet, actually? Because I didn't actually bring that up. I actually lost where I had that, actually. Let's bring that up. We had 845, right? So that's 8045. That was from Richard, right? And so we've got that on here, 683. So maybe the number's gone up since this was made, because this was made a bit earlier, wasn't it? How long ago? About 2 hours ago, was it?
Potentially a time differential.
This is two and a half hours ago, approximately. So, and Richards was out just a little bit while back. So there may be a difference there. I don't know. It's a lot of coin difference, but if it's minting a lot at the moment, that could definitely be the case there. See how it gets a little tricky with the time. You got to get timestamps quite reasonable. Anyway, so let's keep going with it. So we've got supply to be burned on the flop queue is 1.7 billion there. And of course, total net PDai supply since bad actors started is a negative 100 million. So arguing that the total supply is still going down even with that. So that is his evidence there. Let's have a look at his comments about it. So he said bad actor think again. So question mark there. But Richard has actually posted of money that's actually left the chain, right? So 4 million there actually left the chain. And we got this wallet 5996, right? So that matches up with the so-called bad actor, right? 5996. So remember that. And of course, if we go back to the first post here, I'm pretty sure that showed up that, where do we go for that one? I had was it on the side here? I saw that on another wallet, but it's not on this list. So this was a way back from January 24. So let's quickly go through. Let me just jump back out of there too. Sorry about this, folks. Come back there. And let's go down to the next post. So this is the second post that followed on. So number 2. One on the infinite mint problem. There isn't one, he says. So P-Maker vaults are not being recognized as bad debts. The 5996 wallet are pushing the original minter value. So this does line up with this wallet right that's here. So one of the 4 wallets that Richard is reflecting is lining up, although the comment here is that actually $4 million is bridged out and that he can find no evidence the money has returned to chain. So once again, we're relying on CryptoSlov here, relying on the chain analysis and things like that. And so, you got to decide, you got a question mark there on that one. So we're not getting to certainty at all, but we're just getting, the weight of the evidence almost like that, isn't it, Wookie?
Yeah. I mean, there's no clear cut, really. I mean, there's no 100%. I mean,
so we're just kind of showing both sides of the argument here. And so we got what the 5996 wallet are pushing the original minter vaults from the early days into the default. The only way to do this is to increase leverage by minting PDai in the vault. So that's the argument there. And so we've got total PDai at 26 billion, which interestingly enough is actually higher than the total supply. So I'm not sure what the difference is there. I mean, we've got 24.5 billion versus 26. So I'm not quite sure what that is. Yep. Then we have this PDai debt ceiling. That makes sense to me, right? Having PDai ceilings, that's at 26.1. So it's just slightly greater at the moment. And so he's got the system surplus here is 480 million PDai negative. So a negative supply there. And that doesn't equate to 24.5. So not quite sure what the differences are there on there. And that's probably why you need to do a bit further investigation there. But in any case, he says there isn't one infinite mint problem. And that is from one of the addresses that is so-called is the exploit address, one of the exploit addresses. And of course, the wallets are pushing the original mint vaults from the early days into default. The only way to do this is to increase leverage by minting PDai in the vault there. Now, my first understanding was there wasn't really PDai minting, but it was more like a recycling out of lending contract. So we'll try and see if we can get a bit more detail there. This is the system working fine, says PDai Maxi. Once the debt turns bad, that entire vault is put into the bad debts queue and closed forever. I'm not sure if we have that on the map there, actually. The bad debts. I can't really see this by words here, but yeah, I've got some burn here. I've got the maker and the flap here, the burn. See that? You see that, Wookie?
You'd probably have to move us out of the way, I think. You'd have to shuffle us over.
Oh, you can't see that? Oh, yeah, sorry. Let's see here. Did I use the same language? I was trying to get the same language here. surplus there, fine, bad tits. Yeah, I'm not sure if that is the case there, but we're actually blocking it. Let's move over to here. So, guys, we're going to do some dance magic here. And next, we're going to do the mimes. All right, so let's have a look here. So you can see we've got this maker contract, we've got this burn and flap here, we've got the flop up here. So I think it's something to do with that. Let's have a look at some of these terminologies here. See whether anything's relevant to us. So let's go back to his explanation. This is the system working perfectly. Once the debt turns bad, the entire vault is put into the bad debt queue and closed forever. When the system has had a surplus, there was 418 million PDai to be paid out to those that helped clear these debts. The 5996 team earned that, is what he's saying there. So that's a 419. That's what they earned. Now, we look at these balances. We're up to 845 million, right? So he's saying that the team actually earned 418 million there in the system. So we've got the total DAI there at 23.7. That's closer to our 24.5. And we've got the DAI debt setting there at 25.1. This is obviously an older snapshot from the looks of it. So I'm not sure where that how that sets up. So number 4, we've got now we are in deficit. The PDai available rewards the VAT are considerably lower. And of course, we've got the VAT as that big cylinder in the middle. It's kind of the heartbeat there of the system. And of course, the increases in PDai supply were a necessary evil to push the system into deficit. So there's a reason for that. This is the only way PMaker will mint tokens to burn PDai. So that's the argument there. And then he leads us on into number 5 here. Anyone with a block scanner can see this. Even my friends that continue to scream infinite mint bug can see it. See this. The deficit of PMaker will continue to rise. Eventually, the joy will fall to zero, starting the flop auctions. And that's what we thought we're going to start today, with these flop auctions up here, that blue box. But that has not been the case as far as PDai Maxi has said. Number 6 there. I have no clue how low prices can go, but I was around for the real infinite mint bug in the early days of PDai's launch on Pulse Chain. This is different. It's coordinated. It's scripted. It's perfectly designed to ensure that no one knows who pegged PDai. I am not leaving, says the PDai Maxi. So he is adamant that this is the process that's running. And on the 17th of March, he posted this other post. Atropa pools and PDai marker make a peg stability model being integrated so that the 2 largest liquidity pools in Pulse Chain can suck PDai out of the system. But of course, since that time, we know that a famous person here called James Maria, we're introducing him on the field here. So we've talked about Richard Hart, we've talked about Sommi, we've talked about 9irons to some degree, and now we've got James Maria, the Atropa dev, right? And of course, he's the son of, I don't know who kicked it off, the minter, and then of course James Maria there, also making some outlandish comments about Sommi and things like that. So it's been a pretty crazy old time, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's been pretty wild, to be honest, Super. Yeah, no, she's so it's hard to know what to make of it. To be fair, all we can do is just look at the evidence that's out there, and you kind of got to pick your side, I guess.
Yeah. Well, here, I mean, this is the other mix, right? So we've talked about the negative argument, which is the Richard Hart argument. We've talked about the positive argument, which is 9irons here to some degree, a P Maxi, and Cryptomatic's bringing up the fact that does the positive team, or whoever this is, shilling this, are they the guys who are first started shilling are actually the exploiters? So going back to the exploit, so we're kind of ignoring the PDai maker logic there from PDai Maxi and saying, hey, is this independent team the ones that's setting this whole narrative up and actually just exploiting out that $4 million? Or are we actually have some sort of PDai maker pegging still occurring here? And will we get that flop auction coming up? Wookie is blown away by that.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, sorry, Seb, I didn't realize you were actually directing that towards me.
So we got the Tropa Dev origin story here was a post here by CoreCoin, and of course this is one of the deepest rabbit holes on Pulse Chain. This will be a long one, so brace yourself and read on. The Tropa developer goes by many names. Of course, we call him James Maria, right? But of course, he's known as Maria or Maria Rahal or aka James Osborne. We just call him James Maria.
He seems to have like 2 personalities. So
does.
it's this is a whole nother rabbit hole, to
Yeah.
be honest. So,
So this
so
is
there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on. You got all this Atropa thing, you got all the PDai thing, you got the Richard Hart stuff, and then you got the everyone else who's sitting in the corns and everything else, and we're all trying to make sense of it, right?
mhm.
And it's just all happening. It's all coming to a head, I guess.
Yeah, Mr. D holds the position. I absolutely trust PDai Maxi's workings, but they can't get past Richard Hart has spoken comments there
Yeah,
as well. Now, hey,
that's
look,
right.
it was always possible that a independent team was doing this as opposed to Richard Hart, right? It was always possible that, but we always had in the background that actually Richard's, or at least whoever controls the AMM and all those wallets, of course, the Origin account, sacrifice wallets, that they always had harvested a lot of those coins at the beginning, right? So and also the beneficiary of the Genesis block as well, which sets the inflation and other things in Pulse chain. So that was always there in the back of our minds, in the dark.
Yeah, I think when people came into Pulse Chain and stuff like that, or into Hex and things like that, I don't think they ever thought they'd be having to, play 3D chess, I guess, to try and figure out what the next move is.
That's right.
But here we are, trying to figure out what all these different groups of communities and founders in those communities what's really going on, and is there more to it than meets the eye, or is it all legit, or
Yeah.
and and I think
Well,
there's just
and
we're all
that's why we're looking through as
sorting
much
through
of the evidence as we can tonight,
correct,
Kiwi
yeah,
time. So here's another player on the field, of course, the Tropa Dev, James, aka Maria, aka James Maria, and of course he is the wallet there. So the Tropa deploy wallet 414, and of course we looked at Sommi's post about the difference between the founder and the deployer wallet. Now he is known as Maria, etc. Strap him because it's our opinion. This is one of the craziest stories in Pulse Chain to date. It all started with PDai, the fork copy of DAI. Why PDai? Well, speculators of PDai, the PDai to $1, guys. And of course, there's many people out there. What's the community? About 6,000, I don't know. Pretty big. There was a very large LP created between PDai and another token. You guessed it, Atropa. And of course, we saw the on live stream James Maria dumping Atropa back into PDai back into I think it was it DAI, eDAI, I think. I can't remember now. We're talking very large to the sum of 3 billion PDai. This got the PDai community asking the question, what the hell is Atropa? Back in the summer of 2023, the identity of James was unknown, simply known as 414 at the time, but for relentless team of sleuths, this was slots, was about to change. The community was formed and out of the wood where it came a group of blockchain detectives tracking 414's every move until one day, finally, there was a break in the case about who 414 really is. Oh, yes, the GitHub. The GitHub profile of the name was Busy Toby, who was found in there of the GitHub. Inside the GitHub, what many connections to Atropa were found, including a resume buried deep in the GitHub profile. This resume had the names of James Osborne and the third, and listed his extensive and impressive work experience. Some previous employers included NASA, Hewlett Packard, Intel, Microsoft, Bill Gates' nuclear energy company, TerraPower. After discovery, many still speculated if it was really 414. Who was James Osborne? Is this a hoax? Is Richard Hart behind this? Of course, it's always the case, right? It's Richard Hart behind something, because we are expecting many cool things from Richard Hart on the chain, including the Magic Heart ride, which is underwater at the moment by about 50% last time we checked. So many questions left unanswered. The community began emailing the address and so on. And so, it is pretty epic there. I'm just going to jump through a few of these because it's quite a massive list here. James first official face reveal the Atropa there. And of course, we saw him in a little interview at a cafe, didn't we, in Europe sometime? And that is James Maria right there. And of course, he's famous for saying that he had the math for a true random number formula, which is a pretty tall order, right, to say such a thing, since one doesn't exist. Pretty crazy stuff there. So that's James Maria, and of course, dumping the Atropa there, and of course, Teddy Bear as well, right? All went down, down, down. So it's not just PDai that's gone down; it's Atropa and, of course, Atropa and what did I say? Teddy Bear.
Finvestor and actually,
Teddy Bear. So Teddy Bear's gone
Teddy
down.
Bear's actually his,
Teddy Bear. This is the James Maria
Finvestor
project, right? James Maria, Teddy Bear, and Atropa. I'm not sure what other tokens he's got, but these are the main ones that we're talking about. And we can see that this also caved, right? So let's look at the daily here.
on the old teddy bear. And this is one that was it Moon King, one of the big influencers on the Pulse chain. This is come down a lot. So what's a tank down today? 95.6%. We seem to get used to that number on Pulse chain, but we still believe. And so it's down. The market cap was 125 million. It's now 5 million. Oh, wow. That is brutal. And of course, it came down recently from 26 million. This is what caused all the drama, right? All this caving here as well. This is on Teddy Bear, and it's down quite a bit there. So pretty crazy. So yeah, from 125 mil down to 5 million. So this is now PDai down over 700 million market cap, and now we've also got Teddy Bear down over 120 or about 120 million dollars. So you're looking at 820 million dollars approximately of market cap wiped off there. Are we heading towards $1 billion? I think we are. And let's see if we can make it, because we've still got a Troper, right? So let's go to a Troper and check that out. And so we're going to have a look at here. Oh my gosh. So let's go. We've got all the way down. Let's say we take this peak here, 20 cents, and we're all the way down at 7/10 of a penny. So let's go to the market cap, work that out, and we can see that we were up a market cap of 220 million, and we're down at $8 million now. OMG. So, we take 820 plus 220. That puts us at $1.04 billion. So over $1 billion, folks, has been wiped off. PDai, Teddy Bear, and Troper. That's crazy numbers. That is crazy numbers.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? It really is incredible. What
Yeah.
You notice all those charts, they all had the same pattern as well, right? If you look at them, it's hard to distinguish which token's which when you look at all the charts.
Yeah.
They all look very similar. And that's just all the liquidity bonding, right? And everything, which creates the if one goes down, they all kind of go down, don't they? But if one goes up, I guess they all go up. That's the flip side.
Free Diamond says, Superman hour watching replay. What's going on? I'm not sure. We're still live, aren't we? We've been going for an hour. This is my third live stream today. Can you believe it? I'm getting almost like Sommi. So that's crazy. I used to do
18 hours a day. 18 hours a day. So yeah. You hear 18 hours a day?
No, I've got stuff to do. I've got
Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of where we are. But that's over $1 billion. I should have made a new title. Maybe that's my title for tomorrow's video. Over $1 billion wiped out on Pulse Chain, because it's pretty impressive. So that's kind of where we are there. I want to get back to PDai Maxi because he provides the charts, provides the evidence, and he's got some good stuff here. So let's go back through his previous post as well. And get into this. So he's got here a Troper pools and P maker peak stability. We talked about that. The VAT auction surplus are drawing to a close. The flop auctions are about to begin. Now, they haven't seemed to have begun at this stage from what we can tell, because he hasn't really celebrated that. He's talked about that coming up. And of course, we went through this chart in our Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord, folks, get into our Discord. It's a great place. We go through all the stuff in our own Discord private. And of course, it's only $12.50 to join. So it's super cheap as chips to join, and you become part of our awesome community. We're talking about Pulse Chain and other cryptos all day. Get in there, folks. And we've got such a bunch of people, good people like Wookie, well worth joining. And if you want to join our strategy club as well for the extra level intel, that's only $35 a month as well, which is super, super good deal, especially compared to other, Telegrams and Discords. So join up today. Links in the video description for that. All right. So, Free Diamond says, what's this PDai market cap destroyed? Yeah, over $700 million. Over $1 billion, including a Troper and Teddy Bear over since the top of the market cap. So since they peaked out there, pretty crazy time, right? You can join up to Discord there. Thanks for posting that, Wookie. Nice one. Oh, that's actually Brian posting that. Big shout out to Brian in the USA, a community leader.
We're all around the world right now. The UK, America, and down under.
So this is the one he had. He had Aave, P Maker, a PA Maker there, and of course a P Balancer, P Maker. There's so many tokens, right? There's all these A Maker tokens, right? Which is kind of the ownership tokens version of it. And we got PBA, DAI, USDC, a Troper there, and this was the mechanism that we're expecting to happen, right? And particularly around PDai on this chart. So he's got here a lot of moving parts, right? So this is what we were waiting before we had all the sell-off of the OA wallet of PDai and this so-called exploit. We were waiting for the flop auctions to start today. So, man, you just can't keep up with some of the stuff. Sometimes it's moving so fast, even for us who are covering it all the time. So here we got, for those interested in the PDai collateralization process, here it is. PMaker is about to start minting once the 6.5 day auction. That's because we've gone through that, was Friday. And of course allows the call of this flop. It will be flash loaned into PARVE by P Balancer. PARVE assets up, and of course PDai supply down. PDai to $1 is inevitable, says the P Maxi there. And then of course got, based on what I can see right now, there are 10 million PDai left in the VAT for the FPD1 wallet to sell. So you've got to definitely follow this on chain to see where all these numbers are at the moment. But essentially, we expect the first of the flop auctions will begin. And of course, we talked about that, right? That's this box over here, the flop auction there. And of course, the VAT there, we've been talking about quite a bit as well. And you can see Maker over here as well. So pretty important there. So the flopper auctions there will begin. They will run consistently every few minutes until the deficit is cleared. And of course, that was a deficit. I wasn't sure whether it was a surplus, but it was a deficit. You can see the same wallets that control PMaker testing how to start the auctions there. The beauty of joining the PUSD and PDai Trover pools together with via PMaker PSM is that you're effectively going to be able to arbitrage the flash loans buying on PDai against themselves. We create enormous efficiency when sucking PDai out of the pools. A lot of FUD out there. Stay focused. The PDai maker docs are clear. Read them as we are in the end game. PDai to $1. That's kind of the play there. So someone says, so the minting that FUDding people are claiming to happen from that wallet is not free minting to infinity function, right? It comes from the VAT surplus auction, which are about to close soon. He says correct there. So I mean, you got to take it for what it is. That is kind of where we are on a PDai Maxi there. He says anyone that wants to check the blockchain scanner, you can. And of course, even my friends at Continuous Stream Infinite Bug, can see this. This deficit of PMaker will continue to rise, and eventually the joy will fall to zero, starting the flop auctions there. So it's pretty important. So that's I guess we're still waiting to see those flop auctions operate, right? And of course, I have no clue how low these prices will go. That's what he said on that update. So we shall see. We shall see where that lands. With PDai Maxi there. Just make sure I've gone through everything here. 5 hours ago, we also said he also got an update when the flop begins. PMaker will be minted to burn PDai. The lower PDai goes, the more that can be bought with PMaker. So that could be a positive out of this escapade, right? It is uncommon to see the governance tokens rising while its underlying system is apparently falling. Something doesn't add up. And of course, he had a question himself there. There are 13 million PDai entering the bad debt queue per hour. See here for the expected joy balance. Based on the flog schedule, we are going to get to zero in 4 more days. And this was 5 hours ago. Flop auctions are inedible. So we thought 6 days. Now it looks like another 4 or 5 days. I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes. But that is some of the evidence he's provided there. The process, self-fulfilling, RH Maria and the alleged bagged actor scare people to sell. So he's now saying RH and Maria and alleged bagged actor scare people to sell, removing all value from PDai. At that point, the bad actor stops and the bad debts will be healed. Flash loan keepers are already set up to heal the VAL via the flop auctions there. So there could be a big reversal. And it is the box of the VAL, right? So he's talking about the VAL there. We've got that box too. So it's always good to match with this map, the language that he's using, just so you keep track of what he's talking about there. But of course, you can get into the maker contract itself. And there are a lot of plenty of manuals online for that too, if you want to go next level. The noise is only going to rise until the flop auction starts. Like I say, we could see a mad reversal in the DAI price, right? If the flop auction starts and start to burn PDai. So we'll see what happens. So that's pretty cool there from PDai Maxi. Now, if you guys want to check out PDai Maxi, you can, 9 Iron Capital, and I'll post the link to his as well. We try to be fair on this channel. Try to be fair. We're trying to be fair on the show. What else we got? We got free diamonds is Belgium. Brian.
Belgium,
yeah, Belgium. Yeah. Just woke up for some reason. 3 a.m. here, says Brian. Yeah, I thought you were up quite early there. Cryptomatic says Sommi sold and then bought back. Probably did. Hey, look, it's crypto after all. Can you blame him?
I think he's just dropped another video, apparently. I believe so.
Is he already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so bought back again.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
just now, pretty much. So that's probably going through that. I presume.
Hey, look, it's it gets to a lot. You say, well, the bottom's in, right? And you think, I'll buy back in, right?
yeah. It's certainly been a crazy ride, Super. It's really been a crazy day. And
so here we are at the moment. We're at 1/1200th of a penny. We'll see how it gets on. Market cap at the moment is sitting around about 29 million. So there we go. And it used to be, I don't know, if we take the date here, 750, and we take this really top spot price here, $826 million. So you can see how quickly over $700 million wiped out in that period of time. In fact, what period of time is it? Let me just do the days that I put up that chat there. Let me go here. And we can see that was, let's take it from here, but that's a pretty much 100 days. 100 days exactly. How could you? I mean, it's a coincidence. Everything lines up.
Yep.
That's crazy. So that's PDai Maxi. We provide the evidence there. And if you really want to follow, you do need to follow this. And there is plenty of stuff out there. If you really want to geek out and follow those flows and understands, you can check the blockchain and the manuals and stuff on PDai Maker's pretty around for ages, right? So you can see how that mechanic works. And you probably use 9mm Block Explorer to scout those out. Now there's other people in the PDai Maxi crew, right? There's this PDai to $1 guy. There's a couple others around as well. They've got all their own comments in there too. And it's obviously posting out here. Your friend Sommi. Let's have a look. See, Sommi's got another video. Is that what you said?
I believe so. Yeah, I think he's just dropped a new one. I think.
So now he's back. PDai is not 790x to $1. So you got to give him resilience. You got to give him resilience, right? It's true. This is crypto, right? This is crypto after all. So let's not be surprised. Anyway, I've been talking a lot. Walker, you go for it. You go for gold.
Yeah, well, if he continues along this line, I think he'll be a politician before we know it. The amount of U-turns he's doing, old Sommi.
Yeah. It's like he's riding the derby,
Yeah.
So
even the great Sommi is struggling to understand exactly what's happening here, right? Because, I mean, all that, when we go back to the flow chart and the flop auctions, I mean, that's all stuff that's coded in, right? So, I mean, there's no one really controlling the mechanisms, right? Is that my understanding?
Well, the team is activating them, right? They're making things happen there.
Are they? So it's not
those wallets. We know the cheap wallet apparently is this wallet here, right? This 5996. And it's on a DBank profile, right? So you can check that up on the DBank. And we might as well do that actually while we're here.
So I guess what you're saying is that they're the ones that are going in and minting them and then putting them
trying to force behavior through the contract.
Yeah, I guess you are right. Yeah, if you think about it like that, in that regard, yeah.
So there's not a lot in that wallet at the moment, but apparently they've been doing activities. Now we can go to transactions, right, and see a few things there. So an hour ago, 26 minutes ago, 2 hours ago, they got some hex movements. But of course, it's the contract interactions you're looking at with this maker contract, arguably, and maybe some of the others like Aave, Compound. That's all seem to be associated. So there's a couple other accounts there as well.
It all seems to come down to we basically whoever's in control of that wallet. Are they essentially a good actor or a bad actor within the system, right? Because there's nothing. They're not really doing anything that like anyone can probably do what they're doing, but it's having the ability and the knowledge to understand the system and then work the functions, I guess. Otherwise, every man and his dog would be in there doing it, right? So you got to have some high level of knowledge of the whole system, and then how to work all the functions and achieve what you're trying to do. So they're really just gaming the system to some degree. So it comes down to, are they doing it for the right reasons or for the wrong reasons? And I guess that's to be determined, I suppose, to some degree, right?
Well, now we got Sommi, who was out and now back in, right? So I mean, and now he's got a huge community, right? So he can move markets probably to a degree. So let's see what happens. We got McDonald's hat is not coming on until Fat Lady sings. Pulse Chain is going to flip Cardano, and Charles Hoskin DGED stablecoin is going to get mogged by Rich Arts PDai. So there we go. We're back at it again. Like there we go. Look, so it's down at 1,200 a penny on this diagram. He's talking about 10 cents to $1 there, 790. So now it's back on. So who knows what happened?
This could be the craziest thing.
Stop, please. Eric goes, "Grow, stop, please." So that's pretty funny. It's a rush. It's a rush, right? So But hey, look, if you're down a lot on PDai, maybe that's that you want it to go back up too. There's that too, right? So we shall see. We shall see. Is that all he's put out there? Let me have a look there. He's posted a PDai there. I'll go to quickly check Richard Hart since everyone's posting all the time at the moment. Let's make sure we don't miss out on anything. No, so nothing really changed there on that one. So yeah, we also got. I had a comment here as well. We got this Division.pulse puts out here. He goes, "What's actually happening?" This is on the 19th. There, what's actually happening with PDai Maker? And he's got here. This thread is to provide clarity on what's been going on with PDai these past few days. What to expect moving forward and what's ahead in the coming days. So this guy's got a big opinion. I will split this thread into multiple pieces, answering all the concerns around PDai and Maker and hopefully clear up misconceptions. Please read everything to get a good understanding. Feel free to ask questions and I will try to answer them later. So here we go. Who is the 5996 wallet? So if you guys don't know the 5996 by now, you should do because we've been covering it pretty madly. So definitely, hopefully that helps. So here we go. We got the 59 as a dev team. We have been following since the address was created. This address is directly associated with the 29AC and the 0000 dev addresses. We've been tracking them for over a year, half a year, which is we're used to facilitate the PDai to PUSDC 1-to-1 ratio, leading to a more stable PDai price. We will never have a definitive answer as to whether this dev team is a good actor or a bad actor. So that's back to what you were saying, right?
That's right. Yeah, it really comes down to that. When all's said and done, isn't it? It's what is that wallet doing? Is it actually doing what the system wants it to do, and for good reasons? You know, to make the system do what we hope it was going to do, or is it actually just doing it for self-interest and to drain the pools? And I guess that's it in a nutshell. Really, it's going to come down to which way that ends up being, right? I guess.
Well, I guess another question too is that if Richard's come out with this $100,000 die and sold that down in PulseX and trying to maybe kill off the so-called bad actor, as we saw with that spreadsheet evidence, if that is exactly what is happening there, then what's that done to their process, right? Delayed any activity if they are.
And I guess the other question is, can the die peg happen without Richard's involvement? I mean, is that a possibility? That's, I guess, another.
I don't see how it can be really secure without Richard if he's holding that much coin.
You need those tokens, right? You need all those tokens.
Stuff. I haven't looked at the breakdown, but we saw that we don't know how many wallets he's got because Richard often splits stuff up too, or whoever's running those accounts. So Hex Latino says, "Listen to Sommi will wreck the masses." Says Hex Latino. Intentions is the word, says Anita. Absolutely. And Brennan says, "Are we at $1 yet?" That's true. Are we there?
We're getting closer. In a strange way.
It's funny our TA expert in the Discord comes in with, "Are we at $1?" asking us. He's supposed to.
Well, he's for once he's actually asking the real TA guy.
That's you, right? That's
yeah. It's a bit of a joke, but
so I'll just drop this down a little bit. I just realized I can't see that very well. The 5996, the dev team. Are they? What did I get up to on this one? So are they good or bad actor? But more evidence suggests they are a good one due to their favourable action. So there is some interesting. That goes against the evidence that Richard's posted here with the spreadsheet, which is from Crypto Slov, which is interesting. He's using a third party. Does he know this person or not? I do not know. So there's a few questions there. Then we get into this post here, right? How is 5996 minting? Well, first, before I answer that question, you must understand how the protocol works. So if you're really still confused, hopefully this is going to help explain this a little bit. But there is a lot of jargon in this maker system. Essentially, you lock collateralized assets in a vault. I think we can all understand that. And you can then mint PDai based on the collateralization ratio and other parameters set by governance up to a certain limit, debt ceilings, which we saw already in the PDai Maxi argument, right, and the evidence, aka line or line. So there we go. That's pretty easy to understand. Put collateral in and mint PDai. Line represents the global debt, so it's capital with a capitalized L, represents the global debt ceiling or maximum DAI that can be minted for assets combined in the protocol. We saw that being at 26 billion, didn't we? 26.1 billion was the ceiling. Little line with a lowercase represents the debt ceiling for the specific asset or ilk there, and I think we did see that terminology too, didn't we? Ilk there. All the debt ceilings in PMaker are currently maxed out. So how are they minting? Big question. They are not minting, he says, in the traditional sense, as in the max total supply is increasing. However, it can slightly fluctuate via IM auto line, which slightly increases supply if the line has reached its debt ceiling. This is why you see the PDai supply slightly fluctuate. 5996 is minting, basically recycling PDai that is already accounted for in the protocol's VAT accounting layer. And we saw that on that big cylinder, remember, on the diagram.
Yep, sure,
By leveraging collateral auctions, he simply has collateral locked in a vault, then removes a portion, pushing his vault under the collateralization ratio. He then triggers a partial liquidation of his vault, which takes a portion of this locked collateral and starts an auction with it to recover the bad debt. He then buys the collateral back from the auction at a discount while temporarily lowering the debt, or art in this case, in his vault. This allows him to get a discount, relock the collateral, and mint back up to the line or line again, so the specific asset and the overall collateral line as well, so the max ceiling there. This is only possible by owning a vault that has active debt. I'll explain later how he acquired this vault and many others. Number 3, why is he doing this? Is it bad? 5996 is recycling PDI in the system, which causes the protocol to accrue bad debts, and they call this sin here. And of course, not bad sin there, bad debts. More specifically, the VAL receives bad debts as the tab. Total DAI requested from the auction is not fully recovered from the auctions. Once the VAL receives the debt or sin here, or bad debts as we say, there is a mandatory delay wait time before that sin can be released, or bad debt can be released from the queue and dealt with, aka healed by the surplus DAI in the system. What if there is no surplus DAI in the system? The flop auctions must occur to regain the DAI needed to heal the VAL sin or debt there. So we're waiting for those flop auctions, right? So we'll see what happens in the next few days. I've gone over how flop auctions work in an earlier tweet of mine, but basically a lot of maker tokens are minted by the protocol and auctioned off in return for PDai. That is the circulating supply. The PDai is then added to the protocol and burned. So that's the mechanism I started talking about at the beginning of this video just about. So that's kind of the measure there for the flop auctions we're waiting for. 5996 is recycling already accounted for PDai, causing bad debt that needs to be repaid with circulating DAI. Without the 5996 doing this, PDai never gets burned. Seems like the most bullish thing yet. So he's very favorable about these behaviors. When will flop auction start? Well, soon, he says. Now, we've been waiting. We thought it was going to start today, but after this event, maybe it's a few days later there from PDai Maxi. Flop auctions will begin when the VAT.DAI or VAL balance reaches 0. It literally just started to drop now when the wait delay is coming to an end. It's currently sitting at 960 million. Now, I don't know what the updated balance of that is at the moment. We'd have to go have a look at the time of writing this thread, and it's dropped to 150 million in a few hours. Now, this is a little while back now, right? So on 19th there. So this is at least a day, 2 days old. I'll provide a picture below, focus on the VAT.DAI VAL. It may take a few more days or so for that to reach 0. I'll also show the requirement to call the function from the contract itself. So he's got a bit of evidence here with these terminologies, right, which we see. So we can see confirming all that and posting that there. So that is pretty much it. All right, so let's see. Then we've got part of the code as well for the flop auction there. And then last post. So 5996 is using one of the many vaults used to mint the initial PDai supply. Coincidentally, about half of the vaults remain independently owned by the dev who minted the initial supply. RH is rumored to own most of that. So that is kind of where we are there at the moment. So coincidentally, half of the vaults remained independently owned by the devs who minted the initial supply. RH is rumored to own most of that. And of course, we saw some PDai there be sold today. So I'm not sure how whether that's come out of the vault or not, or just liquid supply. Probably liquid is my guess. However, a portion of the vaults had remained owned by the disk proxy actions contract, which allowed the dev team to acquire them. I wonder why the team who minted the initial supply didn't retain complete ownership of all of them. Strange, maybe for this exact reason. We will never know. Lots of talk and rumors about 5996 being a bad actor. To be 100% honest, we will probably never know. In my opinion, and based on what I see, I think not. However, if he is a bad actor, RH is in control of PMaker and can temporarily stop liquidations. Why hasn't he? What's happening with PMaker? No faces can be attached. But if it's up to you to decide, RH will never come out and give us the straight answer we're looking for. So we must pick up the pieces. Although he's given us evidence that an actor is minting tokens, and of course it's the one that's been interacting all this time. 5996 plus 3 other wallets, right? The pegging continues. Enjoy the show. And so, it may very well still continue to continue. Maybe we're going to have this drama play out until the flop auction starts, and we'll see what action happens there. And of course, the market may end up just buying on FOMO anyway. There's a lot of people involved in PDai, and of course, they may see this as an opportunity. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff there. All right, so that is from this person here. So this is a Division. I'll post a link to his as well in the chat there if you guys want to follow up on some of that. How are we doing for time here? We're going to wrap up here shortly, actually. I just realized time has been skipping. Anita says 2 more weeks, Brennan, for $1. Says, woohoo, 2 more weeks indeed. Let's get that TA Wookie. Let's get that TA Wookie.
Who knows? It could be 2 hours the way this day's panned out. I can tell you what.
Brennan says lower prices to clear the pit. Time will tell. That's right. So time will tell on that for sure. All right. So that is that player, and I don't know if it's got anything new in there. No, that was from the 19th. So nothing new from that player, but that is from Divs on there. Now, the price at the moment is at 1300 of a penny, and I've got it on log chart, so it looks pretty crazy. You can see it below Wookie there. Some insane stuff there. So you can see the drama, massive. And as we said, with PDai down, with Tropa down, with the Teddy Bear down, over $1 billion in market cap over the last 100 days. Crazy. And on Pulse Chain. Wow. So pretty crazy stuff there. Let's go into some of the other stuff here. We've got this pulsemaker.win. If you're not familiar with this, I'll post this in the chat as well. And of course, you can save all this to your favorites. So you've got quick references to go back to some of these guys as they provide updates. And you can check out the websites as well. This is a community one, right? Remember, they had the vote on here.
Well, that was a community-driven one, was it?
Community-driven. They were trying to get Richard to interact with it and to push through to accelerate this, and had a number of votes, right? And of course, there were a lot of voters in there. And then there was one post where it kind of indicated it might be Richard, right? That was voting. And of course, a proposal to add Pulse Chain coins to the vault collateral. That was 21st. And of course, that was approved there as well. And of course, there was this executive page here, Pulse onboarding, DAI savings rate adjustment. And we can see at the moment, we've got some terminology for the maker, right? So we've got P maker in chief, 240,000 P maker. We've got PDai savings rate 1%, governing proposal 46,000. We've got the total PDai supply here, 26 billion there. I'm not sure what the difference is between this and the total supply on the blockchain. So I'm just not. There's got to be a reason for that. But anyway, we've got total PDai debt ceiling there, 226 billion. Now maybe something to do with the maker contract itself, like some volume there, like 1.5 billion. That's sitting in something. I'm just not quite sure. I haven't checked it out myself. Now, obviously related to PDai maker is all these other assets, right? Because there's multiple assets involved. And so we've got Compound, Uniswap, Aave, and Sushi, and that's why a lot of those tokens rally as well in this ecosystem, as well as their ownership ones with the A in front of them. So it's kind of cool. All right, so we also got delegates on here, kind of cool as well. And it's got a lot of education in here, right? So you can go in and check out some of the documentation as well. So go check that if you want to really geek out here. Now, another site we've got is Pulsemaker Stats. Almost sounded like it was from another country. Pulsemaker Stats .versal, and it's got data on here too. It's got the joy. See, remember those? We heard that terminology. They're talking about the joy and the sin. We just talked about that in the last post. Well, it's got all these terminologies, right? So the sin being the debt as well, and it's got the ash auction. So got all these terminologies. Woe, bad debt, sump here, auction lot size, wait period there. We had all that terminology in that last post, right? So that's actually adds up pretty nicely there. So I'm going to post this as well. You guys can check it out and get more familiar with the terms there, because we're going to wrap it up pretty shortly here. But hey, it's good to provide the resources, right? But if you guys want to join Discord, get more, join up today. The link's in the video description, and Wookie's got his in the chat there. Only $12.50 to join our private Discord. We've got about 1,100 members. You guys can join too. And if you want to join our strategy club for crypto, join up today as well. That's only $35 a month. And of course, if you want to get into our crypto course, I just launched a soft launch at the moment. That's only $74.99, and that gives a full 15 video series. Fantastic to get somebody up to date on crypto and participating there. So kind of cool. And Brian there's got the link to join Discord in the chat there. And it's in the video description, which is pretty good. I don't know what's happened to my accent, but hey. All right, so that's kind of cool. Now, we've got anything else in here? We've got woe bad debts sitting at 1.3 billion on here, and that equals all minus sin minus ash. Don't you love this sort of stuff? And we got back to the dashboard. Let's go back to the dashboard here. So this is the MakerDAO stats. So it's got all of everything there, baby. So you don't have to go check some contract or blockchain thing. 26 billion DAI, debt ceiling 20.1. That matches up with the numbers that we got from PDai Maxi at the beginning. These are the people that are for the active. We saw 3 people for this make PDai Maker theory. And we've got active vaults there, 33,390. Those are the kind of the loan setups. And we've got the global liquidation limit there, 70 billion. And what else there? We've got 40 deficits at the moment. Total debt that system must cover. At the moment. I want to see all the details there for PDai Maker contract. Kind of cool. Disclaimer there's no guarantee PDai will ever peg to $1, but apparently from some of these numbers, it's about 790x from there. He couldn't resist, could he? He could not resist. That's all I can say. All right, so there we go. That is cool stuff there. And of course, we covered James Maria briefly as well, who was the first part of all this excitement with a live stream dumping, apparently. That's fun. Apparently that's a fun thing. Hey, look, if a 9-year-old kid can do it and do the fingers, I guess anybody else can do a live stream and dump on there as well. Anyway, so we'll see what happens in the future. I think James Maria said he was going to be trying to fix things up and things, so we'll see what happens with that. And who knows what else is going to happen. It's a dynamic environment, and we'll see what happens in the next few days. Last comments, Wookie, before we end the show?
Well, I think everyone just has to calm down. I think, and just take some deep breaths and just try and put in a bit of research and make up your own mind, I guess. And but it's not easy though. Obviously, if when the charts are going down and you're losing a lot of value.
Yeah.
You don't want to compound that though, right? But just doing crazy things, and so you just gotta take a step back sometimes and just try and analyze what is the facts and try and block out a lot of the noise, right, which is going on, and just try and see it for what it is, and then you might be able to make some good decisions.
Or you FOMO right back in like Sommi did.
or you just flip flop all over the place and
Right. Hey, look, it's 790x when you have that narrative. It's quite a powerful one. All right, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We covered a lot of great evidence, both for and against the PDai Maker there. I don't think it's going to be that easy. We are waiting for the flop auctions. They could be any day, any day now. We shall see. It's not going to stop today, is it? It's not going to, even with Richard Hart's post. It's going to continue. Although the market cap has pretty much, that rewriting of $1 billion on those 3 tokens for the time being has definitely changed the narrative. That's a lot of value, and of course, it can always come back in crypto, but it's going to require quite a few $1 million of capital to push those back up there. But in any case, in the short term, I think you can get a little 2x out of nothing. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, the communities ultimately will decide, right? I mean, that's how free markets work, right? If there's a will there, people will find a way, and no matter how crazy it seems. So it's a real battle of minds, almost at the moment, right? And so you just got to.
Well, all I'm going to say is that at any point in a 24-hour day, Sommi is probably streaming. So if you want to continue on with talking about PDai, I'm sure Sommi will be on a live stream soon enough. Other than that, I will catch you tomorrow for my usual crypto update. We'll probably touch base on this again very quickly as well. If you haven't checked out PUSD ALGO, that is the real stablecoin, right? That is the real ultimate algorithmic stablecoin coming to Pulse Chain, backed by the world's best peer-to-peer dev. James Maria might be a fantastic super genius, but so is Jacob in the PUSD ALGO. And of course, he's got his own model, fully DeFi stablecoin solution, PUSD ALGO. Get in there. I consider it a contribution. And of course, it is going to be exciting to see up to 75% of those funds deployed day one for probably is going to be the ultimate stable coin, and of course scalable, right? Which is a beautiful part of it with the ALGO coin there. So get in there, folks. 9% bonus. Plus, if you do up to $1,000, you'll get a 2x bonus potentially. It is a random number between 1.01 and 2x. There are two bonuses, so 90% ones are given. Get in there as well. The link's in the description. We'll be covering more about PUSD coming up. Signum Oracle first, and then an update on the roadmap there from Jacob around PUSD. It's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Are you not entertained, as they say back in Rome? Are you not entertained about PUSD and, of course, PDai? We've covered them. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell. Now, we're streaming on X. We're streaming on PulseChain. We're streaming on YouTube. And we are streaming on PulseChain. But we are streaming on YouTube. And we are streaming on Rumble. And a big shout out to everybody over in Rumble. I've been getting a lot of views over there. Really encouraging signs. Only been on there since Saturday. So a big shout out over there. Don't forget to smash the follow button over on Rumble as well. All right. Catch you guys. Enjoy your day. And we'll catch you for tomorrow's live stream. It's going to be a beautiful Saturday for us down here in New Zealand. We are pretty much some of the last Kiwis that you're ever going to meet in the existence of humanity. So that's proud to be here. All right. On that somber note, PDai to the moon. PDai to the moon. And then, of course, we know definitely it's going to be Mars, and, of course, Jupiter and the rest of it. All right. We got Anita says, cheers, fellows. You're most welcome. Diamond as well. Firestream. I appreciate that. Big shout out to Wookie, of course, my special guest here, one of our awesome moderators and all-round good guy from the land down under. And, of course, at the end of the world. So big shout out there. All right. Take care. Peace out. Bye for now.